There we go.
It's just
Let's talk about that problem. Okay, so if I go into the Pyxis, so for constitution problem, I get my powder vial and I get my carrier fluid, right? So this is my 250 normal saline, cool. And then what I would do is I would take this off, make sure I pop this off, make sure per facility policy I might have to alcohol this off anyway, cool. And then I would spike it carefully, and then this would be on here, and then I would milk it like a cow, cool, to make sure that all the powder gets moistened, and then I'm gonna have fun. And then eventually, once I get all liquid in here, I'm gonna invert it, and then I'm gonna milk it so that it sucks back all the liquid, and then I have everything in this bag. Then when I go to my really cool pump, I'm gonna say, well, I'm gonna have all my tubing on there, I'm gonna prime everything, all that good stuff, fun, and then I'm gonna have this on the pump. So I have to give this over 30 minutes. So if I were giving it over an hour, this is 250 mils. If I were just to set the pump for an hour, I would set it for 250 mils an hour because it would give this whole bag in an hour. Cool. But now I have to give this whole bag in 30 minutes, so in half the time. So I actually have to give it at a faster rate because in an hour, it would go through this whole thing if I had 250 mils an hour. That's all grand. But I want 250 milliliters to go in 30 minutes. So I have to set the rate for the pump faster. It has to go at 500 mils an hour because I need this whole 250 to get in 30 minutes in half the time. Does that make a little more sense? Cool. And so if I wanted to solve the math, so logistically I could figure that out by just looking at it and saying, okay, and it's easy when it's like, okay, 30 minutes, but what if it was like 45 minutes, right? So I have to hang this 250 mils in 45 minutes. I can do it with my math. So I can say I have 250 milliliters per 45 minutes. Yikos, what do? I have milliliters per minute. I can still solve the math. So what's my conversion factor? I have minutes on top and hours on the bottom because I want milliliters per hour. I cross off the minutes, and then I have 250 times 60 minutes in 1 hour. So 250 times 60 divided by 45 would be my milliliter per hour. So no matter what my not an hour is, I can figure it out by doing my conversion and my math. Does that help me make a little more sense? Okay, so thank you, Tria, for getting us. My visuals are not very helpful. Like Nancy's visuals are super helpful because she can draw. I can't, so I'm like using like all this other stuff. People are like, what are you talking about? So, all right, cool. That makes sense. Yay! So we will change, regroup a little bit, and go to Moodle so I can show you that. We have our cool book. So we are using, it says Davis Advantage for Pediatric Nursing, Critical Components of Nursing Care. It's the 3rd edition. It's the book I've been using, it's just the new updated edition. You guys can have a used book, you can rent a book, you can do an ebook, whatever you would like. We are not using Davis Advantage, you do not need an access code at all. I've used Davis Advantage in the past. I like it for some things, but not all, and sometimes students really like it, sometimes they don't. So I just figured it'd be easier, we can just focus on ATI. So, you guys have a really cool book. The reason why I chose this book is because it is a lot of information, but it's more bullet point, easier reading. I used a book originally that had like tons of paragraphs, and it was just like, ooh, all this reading, a little too much. So wanted to make it a little more reader friendly for you, so that when you go to study, look up stuff in the book, it's a little bit easier for you. That being said too, I can't cover everything in the book or in ATI, so like mental health stuff, you're gonna get in mental health. We're going to cover as much as we can, but when I go through like chapters and things, I'll try to tell you like, hey, look over these pages versus the entire thing. So like on the syllabus, you see chapters because it's just easier to say that there, but then as we go through things, I'll be more specific so you're not like, oh my gosh, I have to read the entire chapter. Like, you know, it's gonna be more friendly for you, all right? And then you got your cool ATI book on Monday. ATI books are really fun. So they have a lot of really great information. Today, we're going to be going over some of the information that's in the first chapter. I'm covering like chapters 1 to 4 in the book, but I'm not making you read it. So if you would like to look over it, you can. I do have some pages like, hey, you can look at this if you want, but I'm not making you read. So fun. But it's great to keep up with ATI. So if you're like, hey, I'm just going to kind of look over chapter 1, there are questions after each chapter that are check-ins. I will try to post check-ins as much as possible on Moodle for like review ATI questions or just some good content questions, just to kind of check in as we go through the units. So that way you kind of get to practice things and kind of say, hey, oh, I know this really well, or ooh, I got to look at this again. To kind of help your studying as well. So before I forget, I want everybody to take out their phones, because we're going to use phones in class. Very cool. I have some of your cell phone numbers, but not everybody's. So I want everybody to text me, just to be fun. Cool. This is my cell phone number. Again, I have some of your numbers, some of your I don't. I don't have your number. Okay, text me and say, hey, this is so-and-so. I have your number, some too. So if you know I have your numbers, like Kristen, Morgan, I have Cassie's number, but a lot of Reagan, I have your number. But if in doubt, just text me and say, hey, this is so-and-so. Because for clinical, it's really great for me to have your cell phone number so I can send out group texts and like, hey, by the way, we're going to be here or whatever. So my phone should be blowing up. Thanks so much. Very cool. So on Moodle, I have our course syllabus and our just general course calendar, so I'm going to pull that up for you. We're going to go over the clinical Moodle pages on Peds Day. We're going to talk all about clinical one-stop shop on Peds Day, a little bit easier. So I'm going to pull up our cool syllabus here. Office hours, I have to post those, but please let me know if you need something. Like I'm usually here pretty much every day except Mondays. Mondays I'll have clinical, so usually I don't necessarily come back to the office. But by all means, if Monday is like the only day after clinical that you can meet, let me know. I can come back in. So just definitely, I love communication, love open communication. So if you need something, please let me know. There's no silly questions. The silly questions are the ones you do not ask. So if it's like, oh my goodness, I can't find this on Moodle, and it's like, oh yeah, it was right there. No problem, I'll be happy to help you. Like, it's really cool. So anything that you need, please let me know. Generally, like cell phone wise, like you can, if it's like a real like need, like I can't wait till the next day, text or even call. But if it's something that can like wait till the next day, just email. Usually I say like a 24-hour turnaround time, just be safe. So on the weekends, like if you were to call my office phone or something like that, like I can still see it on my email and stuff. So, but generally people just use cell phone versus office phone. But if you want to, you can call the office phone. It's cool. Just gonna keep that in mind as well. Our cool course description that's in the awesome course catalog. Our course and clinical outcomes, which we will, I'll post. We're supposed to in all of our classes post that with each of the assignments and things, so you kind of see how it ties in. So it's not just like on the first day, this is what we're doing. We actually tie that into the entire semester and all the assignments and everything. So even exams, it's very cool. So obviously being on time, being prepared is super important. I will do my best to always be on time and be prepared as well. So we are going to do a lot in this class. We're going to use the nursing process. It's going to be really fun. We're going to build on everything that you've been learning. So we will have that rule of the like the 8:05. I didn't close the door today, but if you were to come late, like if you need something and you like it's bad weather or something, just text me. Let me know. Sometimes people send a message through other people like, hey, I heard from so and so they're going to be late or something like that, just so I know that you're okay. Because I'll worry. Like, are you all right? You didn't come to class. If you're not in class and I didn't hear from you, I will track you down. I'll be like, are you okay? What's going on? So please let me know like ahead of time if you know you can't be in class. Attendance is when you are in class participating. So like today, hey, you're participating, you're drawing up the medicine, cool, you get credit for that. So attendance days are any class days and the last exam day because we're doing a group. The last exam group, exam 4, it's going to be a group exam. We do a group sim. It's fun, so we'll talk more about that. It comes at the end of the semester, it's just a little bit easier that way. I did it first time last semester. People tended to do great on the exam because you get your study buddies. Very cool, and it was really good experience. So I will do that again. So that being said, though, when you're here participating, that counts. But if you cannot be here, I can't give you like attendance credit. We can talk about that on a more individualized basis. But please let me know though if you can't be here, because I can record the class and things like that for you. Just want to make sure you get what you need. Obviously, our plan could change. Sometimes I make the syllabus. Ideally, try to not change anything. But sometimes we need to change based on the needs of the class and whatnot. So kind of going into the first day, I think, hey, this is going to work great. And then we just kind of regroup and based on what everyone needs. So if there's anything that I can do differently too, I will be asking for feedback during the semester, but definitely want to have that. So don't feel like if there's something bothering you or something like, hey, I would really like this, or hey, I didn't really get this, or can we not have this again? If you're not comfortable necessarily like coming to talk to me in person, if you need to go see like Professor Jody or something, she could let me know. That's fine. Like however you want to do it. But if there's something that you need to let me know about, please let that be known. So I'll make sure you get it to me. All right. So we got our cool textbook. We'll have some readings with that, some lectures, some class prep activities. I'm not doing the full flip classroom idea. Sometimes we'll take some class concepts and use them for homework, so there will be like recordings or whatnot to do some activities with that, readings and stuff, but ideally we'll have a lot of active learning activities. We're going to use Chad as much as possible because he's working a little bit better this semester. So we'll use Chad. He was a little bit sick last semester. And of course we have clinical discussion, and then we've got some cool other materials we'll use. You've got your textbook, we talked about that. The way that the class works, there's 4 exams, so 50% of your grade are exams. I'll show you the course calendar layout when you submit it. Your ATI final is 10%. You probably heard from the seniors that we do ATI prep a little bit differently now. We started the first semester last semester, so we'll take a practice exam in class, and then we'll do active learning templates to review content, take a second one, and then actually people did way better on their ATI final. So I trust the system. It's cool. And also and we'll talk more about ATI final and stuff, but the ball is in your court, so to speak. So it's 12 points total, so the more you put into it, you can actually get a higher grade. It's not just like you're held to just one score on the ATI final like it was before. So like everything depended on how you did on that final for your ATI final score. But now it's like, okay, well, you take the first practice test. Let's say you don't do super well on it, but you do really well on your content review and your active learning templates. Then you get points for that. So you get a point for like taking the test, yay, and then you get points for your work. So it really is kind of more in your control than it was before. So that's a really good thing. Clinical assignments, we talk about clinical. On Tuesday, we have weekly assignments. Because of our schedule, we'll talk more about that on Tuesday, we only have 5 sessions in clinical instead of 6 because of the holidays, because of Easter Monday, because of spring break. So we had to do things a little bit different this semester, so we're only actually going to be in the hospital 5 times. So we'll talk more about that on Tuesday. We have a Peds education project, which is super fun. So we'll talk a little more about that on Tuesday too. But from your clinical experiences, you'll choose a patient to focus your whole project on, and you'll make a concept map. You'll make a creative tool to enhance patient education based on developmental stage and learning preferences. So fun, and then you get to write a short AP paper, putting everything together about your project, and then you get to present it to the class. So it's usually really fun. It's a short presentation. It's fun. It's cool because you work really hard, so you should be able to showcase your work. But because we only have 5 sessions in the hospital, we were able to work out a better schedule so you have more time once clinical ends to work on your project. So you actually benefit more because other groups past semesters, they had their projects due like right after clinical ended. So you guys have more time. That's cool. Attendance, showing up, participating. Homework, there'll be class prep and things. You do have a homework assignment for Tuesday, but no reading from the textbook. So you're welcome. And then the drug dosage math exam. Okay, that's going to be on Tuesday, first thing when you come in for Peds Day. It's 20 questions. First 10 questions are conversion.
3 ounces equals how many milliliters? 2 tablespoons equals how many teaspoons, right? Things like that. Now, your Peds packet review for your math has on the first page some, hey, good things to know. So in farm, you guys remember you learned all your conversions, all that good stuff? And you only had to know like certain conversions because you could figure out, you do more math, but you could figure out stuff. So you don't have to remember how many, tablespoons or an ounce, like, oh, right? Because you can figure out, because you know how many milliliters in a tablespoon and how many milliliters in an ounce, and you can convert. You just do more math, but you can totally do that. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So what's on the first page of the Peds math packet? I'll just look over that. Those are good conversions to know. Okay, super dupes. So when you come in on Tuesday, we will do that. You can use a calculator, so I'll provide calculators if you prefer to use your calculator from home, that's fine, as long as you just can't search the internet, so like no cell phones. Good. And then, first 10 questions are conversions. Second 10 are drug dosage math. So, like, hey, this is ordered for your kid. This is the safe dose range. Is that dose safe? Yes or no? Or if your kid receives this in a day and this is the safe daily dose range, will they exceed the safe daily dose? Or, hey, this is ordered, this is what's available, how many mils do you give? Or, hey, this is a sliding scale insulin, and this is your kid's blood sugar, and how many insulin units are you gonna give? Cool. So very similar to your drug dosage math package. Cool. So if that went well, and again, I'll look at everyone's schedule, and hopefully we can have a math review by the end of the week too. So we can check in on that packet. So if you haven't gotten a look at the packet yet too, you can work on that. And then of course your clinical evaluation, awesome. You do everything for clinical, super great. And then you also have 4 hours of community service that are required by the end of the semester. So even if you're in group 1, and by the end of the clinical, if you haven't gotten your 4 hours on, that's okay. You have until that last day of finals at like 5 p.m. I'll take it. So like April 27th, that Thursday at 5 p.m. So you have like way amount of time. So I'll just check in with you and say, hey, you still have to do 4 hours, that's cool. There are opportunities coming up. There's sewing stuff that's on the board out there too. There is, if you'd like to make Valentine's Day cards for local nursing home residents, totally can. You can mail them in or you can drop them off at the city center. And you just put it in the book that you did, I spent like 2 hours. That's cool. I'll take your word for it. You'll make some people really happy. And I'm also going to reach out again to Community Harvest Food Bank. We do 4 hours on a Saturday morning. It's going to be in March, probably March 11th or so I'll pin that down because I know the weather isn't super exciting, but super fun. It goes by super fast. It's 7:30 to, usually we get out like 10:30, but because of community and everything, I give you guys your 4 hours, and you work like constantly for like that 2.5, 3 hours. So you get 4 hours, okay? And it's really fun. Like last time, like I sweat like a bunch. So did I. Yeah.
It was so much fun though.
It was fun because we were on the assembly line, and it was like back and forth. We were putting boxes together, and then it was crazy. It was cool. So, really fun, and we helped like, I don't know, it was like 800 families or something. It was crazy. It was like people just come in, and it's like for constant like hours straight, and it's just we put everything in the car, and we just feed them as much as we can. So in their Allen County awesomeness. So that'll be a fun 4-hour opportunity as well. But there's tons of stuff coming up. There's blood drive in February, so there's tons of stuff coming up for you. Cool. All right, there will be bonus opportunities for all the course exams. So you can get up to 3 bonus points. But if you don't pass with a 75 or higher, I can't give you the bonus points, you just have to remediate. But that's standard for all of the courses. There is an overall extra credit opportunity for this class. I say it now at the first day, and then I don't talk about it until way end of the semester because I don't want you to have to worry about it, okay? In a nutshell, it is a 1% boost to your overall course grade. It's going to be continuing education that you do. It's like an hour, not much at all. But I tell you this now so we don't worry about it until the way end of the semester, because this is something totally easy to do that you can do at the end of finals week after you're done with everything else. So do not worry about this at all until way end of the semester. By the end, I try to get Moodle updated. I try to update Moodle as much as possible during the semester. But by the end, in finals week, I try to get it up and running, like totally everything in as soon as possible so you can see your overall course grade. And then I tell you, if it would benefit letter grade wise to do a 1% boost,
then I recommend you doing this, and you have till Thursday, 5 p.m., way later. You can do it after everything else is done. But if it doesn't benefit you, then I just tell you, continuing education is awesome, but please don't waste your time. Your time is very valuable. So if you were gonna get like a B+, and it would bump you up a percentage, but you'd still get a B+, I would say, you're awesome, but please don't do this. So that's why we talk about it the first day. Don't worry about it until way end of the semester, okay? Cool. All right, talk about service hours. Sweet. Late assignments, I will accept late assignments, but I count down 10% of the points. So my point is, if you have any issues at all, your computer has issues, you're sick, anything like that, tell me before the due date and time, as far in advance as you know, because then I can work with you, give you an extension, that kind of thing. I did that last semester toward the end. There was a lot of stuff going on. We had to kind of have the test and the ATI final and projects due, and it was kind of cray-cray. And people were like, you know what, I really need an extension, I need some help. Totally, you reached out ahead of time, let's help each other out. But if you don't reach out, if you don't tell me anything, I'm gonna be like, what's going on? And then I can't help you as much. So open communication, that's real big with me. I love open communication. As a nurse, it's really important too. If a clinical assignment is turned in late, it's counted as a clinical day. That is our policy for the department. And then all course and clinical work assignments must be completed in order to successfully pass this course. Basically, you have to do everything. Because in past semesters, some people didn't do things because they had just a lot going on at one time. I totally understand that. But that's why I then reach out and say, hey, oh my goodness, like it took me a really long time to put this calendar together for our class because I was really trying to figure out, okay, well, here you have an OB test, here you have adult health, but I don't want you to have more than 2 in 1 week. And then I was like, well, the lesser of the 2 evils here, what are you gonna do? And so I really tried hard to like figure out the best case scenario. So it's gonna be a lot, but I really tried, and Jamie tried, and Nancy tried, Michelle, Kristen tried, everyone's trying to make sure everything is as smooth as possible. It's just so, really tried, everyone's trying. So with that being said, yes, if you need anything, please reach out. All right, so our cool grading scale, that's the same for all of nursing courses. And then here's our cool introduction day, so sweet. And then our Peds